The default screen in Alteryx Designer includes 3 sectional panels. The one in the middle is called Canvas. On the left is called Configuration. And at the bottom section, you can see Result pane. Let us go over the basics of each panel. We'll start with Canvas. From here, a user can bring in different tools as needed and build workflow. On your keyboard, hold the press Control button and use your mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. You can also move around the screen while hold press down your mouse wheel button. And there are 2 ways to bring in tools onto your canvas. The first way is to use your upper toolbar section to access any tool that you need and simply drag and drop onto your canvas. I'll bring Select Tool from Preparation toolbar by drag and drop and place it right next to Text to Input tool. Another way to bring in tool onto your canvas is to right-click on the empty space on your canvas, and you will see Insert Category. And from here, you can access any tool that are listed in the same way in the upper hand or toolbar section. I'll bring another Select tool by clicking. On your upper right-hand corner, you'll see a blue button that says Run. This button works as a switch to execute all the tools that you have placed on your canvas. Let's hit Run and see what happens. It runs. But there's another shortcut key to execute this Run button. On your keyboard, hold press Control key and hit R. Then it will do exactly the same thing as you have hit this Run button. Let's move on to the Result pane. Result pane can switch between default result and tool-specific result. If you click on empty space on canvas, it shows you a default result. The default result will show you how many records of data have been processed from which tool. And at the bottom line, it will give you a one-sentence summary whether the data processing was successful or not successful. If you click on each tool, the result pane will switch onto data table. About the functionality of the result pane, I will go over in more detail in later lectures. Let's move on to the configuration pane. After clicking left-click on the empty space on canvas, and you will see on configuration pane on your left, there are 5 tabs: Canvas, Workflow, Runtime, Events, and Meta Info. Not all of these functionalities on these tabs are covered in core level. We will go over briefly of important tools that will be covered in core level. We'll start with Canvas tab. From here, you can access different layout versions of your canvas. As a default, it is selected as horizontal, but if you click on vertical, your layout of your canvas will be switched. I personally like horizontal. And right beneath the horizontal drop-down cell, there's a annotations option. From here, you can you can choose whether to present annotation as a default or not. If you hit hide, text input, right beneath the icon, you can see vehicle MSRP. These are the annotations specific to each tool, and it will be hidden if you click hide option, like so. And connection progress is a little pop-up box that shows how many datas are processed during each iteration of the run execution. If you hit show, it shows how many records of data has been put out from the text input and fed into the next tool, which is select tool. As a default, it's hidden. Moving on to workflow. In core level, we will be mainly dealing with standard workflow. And as a default, the workflow that Alteryx Designer has as a default is standard workflow. But at the later level, you can also build analytic app or macro. Moving on to runtime tab. This tab dictates how Alteryx Designer will process the data. All the way at the bottom, you will see a Use AMP Engine checkbox. So from the beginning, from your initial installation of Alteryx Designer, this AMP engine will be checked as enabled. But depending on the data type that you want to process through this designer program, you can turn off the AMP engine. And this is where you access the switch to turn on or off the AMP engine. Moving on to Event tab. From here, you can click Add button, and there are run command and send email functionalities that can be operated in conjunction with the workflow. It's not covered in core level, but the functionality keys are here. The Meta Info tab shows you all the meta informations about this workflow. Besides these core components of each panel, if you would like to change your preference of the interface, you can go to Option, User Setting, Edit User Setting, and in the pop-up window, you can see there are different preference selections that you can choose from. For example, you can change the general theme of your interface as dark mode. You can choose dark mode. And also, if you want to show grid, you can click on grid here. This means this little tiny dots on your canvas. Those are the grids. I personally like to have a grid on my canvas, so I'll just leave it as it is, show grid. And also you can change your text color, font, background color. And there's also language option here. You can pick different language of your interface. And notification when you hit run button, and whether the Alteryx designer will make kind of pinging sound, whether the workflow has been run or yeah, there are a lot of preference selections at user setting. So even in the core level certification exam, I do remember they ask about what kind of keys, what kind of selections are available in user settings. So it might be worthwhile to check out yourself what kind of options and selections are available on user setting in each tabs. So far, we have looked around the basic components of the Alteryx designer's interface screen.